Hello, my name is Jim, and this is your Daily Brogue for May the 13th, 2021. Okay, let's see what we have today in the Dungeons of Doom. Look at that nice big chasm. Is there anything nice for me in that chasm? No. Usually not a secret door up here. Maybe there's a way around here. See, that's not secret. Technically, that's an unsecret door. Oops, shackle. Let's see. Another nice chainmail. Let's see how chainmail does this. Shackle. There we go. Let's see. Is there a way around there? There has to be a way around there, right? There won't be secret doors here. Oh, I do see the... No, that's not the way. Maybe I just couldn't see over there. No? I'm going to go back up and just in case. Doesn't quite feel right. I see. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see. I see the way it works. It's important to see the way it works. Turquoise potion. I think that's my first one, isn't it? Strength, very good. And one kobold guarding that monkey. Incinerate arts, not really what I'm looking for. We will ignore the monkey today. Monkey's not the favorite. Don't count monkeys on as the favorites here. Automatic. All the way okay. Get the Puce potion. Alright. Bad. Need to get out of that cloud. That's fine. And loot. want to talk about today. So, I had my annual review. It was very nice. I'm surprised. My boss rates me better than I do. But during the review, I got some weird information, right? What is that weird information? That weird information is that the not sure how to say this. Weird information is that sort of on the main campus, so this requires a little bit of explanation. I'm in a sort of branch campus that has a specific sort of purpose, right? We teach particular programs, right? And those normally mostly have to do with the ocean, right? It's a very maritime thing. So that's what I do. Right? That's where I work. Now the classes I teach are sort of normal classes, right? Physics is sort of a normal sort of discipline. Oops. So, in being a normal sort of discipline, the class is supposed to be comparable to the one at the main campus, right? But one of the deans on the main campus kind of chose to do things weird, right? And now the way they're evaluating the classes rather than through student evaluations, which is good. You know, student evaluations are bad, so the students are not competent to evaluate their teachers. Worse than that, actually, if you look at the research, peers aren't competent to rate their peers, and you're not competent to rate yourself. All right, so as a teacher, it doesn't matter whose advice you're looking at, who you're looking at. Nobody knows exactly how well you're doing just by watching you do things. Now, there's some ways you can improve that. You can, rather than measure student evaluations, right? Rather than measure peer evaluations, you can measure actual things, right? But so what's happened is we have a kind of an issue. The old evaluation system, the old student evaluation system, was accessible. You know, your scores were accessible to the person who was evaluating you, right? So that was probably pretty good if you think those evaluations are a good thing. If you think any sort of evaluations are a good thing. Whatever thing you're evaluating for your supervisor should be able to see it, right? But that's no longer true. Just to make the world a crazy place, that is no longer true where I work. The evaluation system is now only accessible to your, oh, I'm not even sure if it's accessible to you, right? I haven't tried it since, I haven't cared since the, whatever this thing is, the coronavirus stuff started. So, my boss talked to the dean, and the dean said, "Oh, well, we're not doing that anymore. We haven't been doing that in college. Or we haven't been doing this at the main campus for like 2 semesters. For the last couple of semesters, rather than using evaluations, what we're looking at are grade distributions. That is, what we're looking at is how many people get D's, F's, or drop the class. So, the lower that number is, the better you do. Now, you might see a problem with this, right? Because obviously one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that students are prepared for the next course, right? However, if instead of if what you're grading on is just those, it's just the ratio, basically the ratio of passing to not passing students at the beginning, from the beginning of the semester on. If you look at that ratio, you end up with a real possibility that, you know, this is how they're going to decide whether or not I get tenure, whether or not I get a promotion, whether or not I get fired, or whatever. If that's what we're going to do, then we'll just give you what you want, right? We will pass everybody. And to be honest, that's what I thought, but I didn't know for sure. However, I do have the ability to look at things. So normally, my grade distribution has been fairly similar to those in the main campus. Actually, maybe a little, you know, fewer A's but fewer failures in general is what I had. So, I went and I looked that up for spring, for last spring, right? It's been available, you know, those have been available on the dean's list, or on the dean's website for ages, right? So for a couple of months now. They weren't available at the beginning of the semester. I've been working on the whole time, so, you know, wandering around saying, okay, well, how good did I do last semester didn't really matter, because, you know, I haven't had a lot of time. That's why I haven't been doing this, right? That's why this disappeared from my life. Well, that's why I haven't been around you. That's why I've been so sad. So, crap. I don't know who that guy is. So to worry about. That's an acid mound. So that sounds like it could be a problem. I looked these numbers up. So last spring, previous semester to this one that just finished, I looked at the number of D's and F's they had at the main campus, right? 500 students, right? 500 students. They had 7 D's and F's, actually 558. 7. Everybody else was stellar. So then I went back and looked at the previous semester, right? And that is, you know, a tiny fraction. A tiny fraction actually failed, like 2% or something like that. They did have 10% or so drop. I looked at what I did that semester. I had a little less than 10%, a smaller percentage drop. It's only me that semester teaching the same class. And so we had the smaller percentage drop, we had a greater, and I had a larger number of D's and F's. I had about 20% D's and F's, which is about normal. So I failed more people than they did at the main campus. All right. So that was pretty awful, right? Finding that out. So I mean, the first thing you wonder there is, was I mistaken? Do I misremember these numbers? I'm pretty sure I don't misremember those numbers for several reasons. The main reason being that a good deal here. Main reason being that I made slides. I've made slides from that data for previous semesters. So I went back to the next previous semester. Right? I went down to the fall a year ago. Right? So it's a long time in the past, right? You can imagine that maybe it's just a wall, right? You can imagine that there were lots of things that I could have misremembered, right? I could have misremembered my rates, right? I could have misremembered you know, how well they did, right? the main campus, and so forth. So, I went back to the next previous semester. And what did I find? Oh, only +2 because I made it that way. There's an old okay, see, I am already completely tired. The acid mines. I went back and I looked at the grade distributions. And the grade distributions were exactly what I thought, it turns out. What I thought had been the case, oh, there we go, was true. The previous fall, a year ago, a year prior to this semester, I failed about 20% of my students. And the main campus failed about 25% of theirs, right? Which is about normal since they did something to try to improve their retention. Right? They had done something else a little more meaningful to try to improve retention. It was kind of, from the evidence that they cite, I'm a little bit dubious about it. But I am a little bit dubious about whether or not anything actually improved. But at least it was they were doing something, and then you saw the improvement. Here, there was no, we were doing something, and then there was some improvement. Instead, it was just, it was just, we decided that we need to pass more people, so we gave them more scores. That better scores, because there's been no change as far as I know in the classes. Right? Okay, I have to leave the goblin here. Can't be any goblin, it has to be that goblin. Ooh, and a staff room. It's one of those 2 staffs things. It's a good one. I also have to not accidentally kill it. An ogre. Probably don't need the set of healing. Where do I see a centipede? Right there. But now that's the new way I'm going to be evaluated. Is by how many students I pass. So now here I need your help, right? I need you to help me decide how am I going to pass more students, right? Don't really think I should make the class easier. One thing I could do that I think would be reasonable is rather than trying to produce a bell-shaped curve, right, which is traditional, you know, get things sort of in the center, I could try to make sort of a triangular shaped curve with the grades. So, but you know how these things are. Eventually they will move to, well, you know, if people who were getting D's and F's now get to get C's, then people who get C's will need to have B's, and people who have B's will need to get A's, and so forth. Last spring my rate for A's was actually quite low. I was surprised about that. Oh well. Oops, I didn't put that away. Yeah, I didn't really have anything good for getting away from the ogre. I wonder why this thing wasn't working. Oh, it was weakened. You need to use that enchanting. Alright. Well, that's enough whining for me. You have a great day, and I will talk to you again on the 14th of May. Bye now.